If you're not a graphic designer, but you still want to make money selling digital products on Etsy, then you're going to want to watch this video. I am not a designer. I'm actually a homeschooling stay-at-home mom from Arkansas, but I've still been able to make over 4,500 sales on Etsy. And these are the simple design hacks that I use to make my digital products look more professional. I designed all of my digital products in Canva, so I'm going to share my screen and we'll hop over to Canva so I can show you how I designed my products. The first design hack that I like to use is I like to stick with less than 5 colors. So 5 colors is the maximum that I will use. And I typically will use that if like I'm doing a rainbow type theme. But for most of my digital product designs, I use 2 to 3 colors. So here is how I find matching colors. The first resource I use to find matching colors is the Canva color wheel. And so what I did, I just Googled Canva color wheel. This popped up and you can just move around here and find the colors that you like. And then you can change it right here where it says choose a color combination, change it to whatever it is that you want. And so this is triadic. There's 3 different colors here. And so that's what I would use. And so you can just find the colors. So see how they're all moving around here and they're just finding you matching colors. And so you just play around with this until you find the color combination that you like. Once you find the combination that you like, you can just click here and it'll copy it. You can go back over to your Canva design. Let's say we had a rectangle and you would just paste in that color. And so now you have this color. And so that's how you would get your colors into the design. And so that is the first way that I like to find matching colors. The second way that I like to find colors for my designs is with this, it's called like a color wheel or a color picker. And so you can see here, if you highlight a color, it'll give you the hex code for this color, which is these numbers and letters here. And that's what you would copy and you can put that into Canva. So see here, we copy it. So see, it gives us the color. And so what I like to do with that is, let's say if I Googled a planner, I went over here to images, and let's say that I found a planner that I liked the color. So let's say that I like this orange and green combination. I would just go up here to my color picker. So color pick eyedropper. That's what it's called. Color pick eyedropper. I would click that and I would just come down here to the orange color, click it, and then I could copy that and take it back over here to my design. I would paste that. And so now we have orange. And so that's a good way to, like, if you're looking on Etsy and you see a product that you like the color scheme, then you can use your color pick eyedropper. And that way you can easily just get those colors into your design as well. And so that way it makes it easier for you to find matching colors. So you're not kind of just randomly guessing about what colors to make your design. So that's hack number 1, is to just use 2 to 3 matching colors within your design. Hack number 2 is to use 1 to 2 fonts all throughout your design. And so whenever you start doing too many things, like using too many colors and too many fonts, your design just gets really overwhelming. And so we want to keep it simple. Simple way to find fonts is to go over here to the text section, and then you can see where it says font combinations, click see all. And these are the font combinations that Canva is telling you match well. And so you can just go scroll through here until you see something you like. Let's say you like that one. And then you would just click ungroup, and now you have each font. And to see the name of the font is right here. So you can click it and it'll show you the name. So this is actually the same font. They are just doing, one has an effect and one doesn't. Like this one, ungroup, that's the name there. And then that one. This is just Canva giving you simple ways to find matching fonts. That's how you can find 1 to 2 fonts, and you would just use these throughout your entire design. And so what I would typically do is just like this bigger one would be this bold font would be like my headers. So if I had, like date or something, so that would be my header. And then this would be like my subtext. Then I would have month or something in here. That is how you can make sure your fonts look good throughout your design. Design hack number 3 is going to be to make sure that you are leaving white space within your design. And so what I see a lot of people doing is that they are just shoving a bunch of stuff into their design. It just looks really crowded. And so it's like your eye doesn't get rest. Like, see how it just looks really smushed together? And so I see people just fitting a lot of things onto their design, and they're putting like elements. So they'll put a bunch of things. So they'll have like this in there, and then they'll have like a plant going across there. And so what you want to do is make sure that you are leaving space within your design. So like make sure things are spaced out within your design. So see how it's more spaced out? There's a white space in here. It looks more clean. That's what you want to make sure you're doing. You don't want want to overwhelm your customer by having a bunch of elements and writing all over the page. You want to have your design look very nice and neat and put together. And that's how it's going to look more professional. Don't just like if we have different colors here and you chose like a bunch of different colors and it was just like really overwhelming to the reader. The colors didn't flow. Like that is how I see people design their products. And it's just incredibly overwhelming. So you want to make sure that if you do something like that where there's space, leave space. See how this looks cleaner than all of this. So just make sure you're leaving white space for the person's eye to kind of like rest before it moves on to looking at something new. The fourth design hack that's going to help your designs look more professional is that you want to make sure everything is aligned. The amount of people that I see that are just like, they have their words are just kind of all over the place. This one's here, and this one will be here, and then this one's like here, but it's like way far away. Then they'll try to sell something like this. They'll get a negative review because the person is like, it looks sloppy, right? So you want to make sure that you are aligning your text or aligning your elements on the page. And an easy way to do that is just to highlight all of that, go to position, and then you can align vertically, align horizontally, tidy up, right? So tidy up would be the real one you want to do, but you can just tidy it up and now you see how it's all aligned. And so that's what you want to make sure you're doing, that everything is aligned up, especially with like if you have a checkbox, make sure that your check boxes are aligned. See how Canva gives you all of these, the purple outlines, it's telling you like how to make sure everything is spaced evenly. So don't just have some kind of over here and then over here, even just the slightest type of something like this. We don't want that. We want to make sure everything is together, and there it pops it right in place for you. So make sure you are using this position feature and you are aligning everything so that it looks really nice and professional. Design hack number 5 that I like to use are these margins here. So I'll get bigger. So see these margin, this margin here, like rectangle around my page, that is a margin. And this is what I call the safe zone. So I'll just like go around it so you can see. This is what I call the safe zone. So when the person is printing, I try to keep all of my design elements within here that I want to be printed. So any words that I wouldn't want to get cut off, I keep it within here. Pictures or like check boxes, anything like that that I wouldn't want to get cut off, I make sure they're within here. Just like a design element like this plant, that's fine if it gets cut off. It's just a design. If this, gets cut off, it's okay. But what I don't want is to start my word right over here and then the person just has, this gets cut off. Like, so whenever they go to print, it just says innuary because the J and the A got cut off because it was too close to the edge. You just want to make sure that you are staying within the margin. And how I got this margin, let me move that so you can see it up here. How I got the margin is go to File, Settings, and then Show Margins. That way you can just make sure that your designs are kept in the safe space. And so it just decreases the likelihood of the writing or anything important getting cut off the page whenever they go to print. Design hack number 6 is to make sure you are using readable fonts. And I know those like scripty fonts, they look very nice, but they're hard to read. If we just go over here and I type in like script. So some of these can be hard to read. Like, what is this? It can be hard to read if we're just looking really fast. Kind of want to stay away from the script fonts. So you would rather use these types of fonts as complementary fonts. So they're not your main font. So something like this that's easy to read could be your main font, and then you could put this as your like a secondary font or a complementary font. So something like that. So you can still read the important stuff. And then this is complementary. Even if we can't read it, we'd still know what's going on. Like we get the picture. So you want to kind of stay away from these scripty fonts, especially ones that are super hard to read. This one's, harder to read. Make sure that you can read it like at a glimpse so that it's not hard for your customer to read, because we don't want to give them a product that they can't even really read it. We want them to be able to know what's happening in the product. Use the script fonts sparingly. Don't use them for your entire product and we can't read it, we're struggling to read it. Make sure you have a readable font, and then if you do want a script font, make sure that it is easier to read and we're using it as complementary and it's not the main font. And design hack number 7 is going to be to use high contrast colors. And so what I mean with this is I'll see people, they'll have like a color like this. Let me do my color wheel again. They'll have a color like this, and then they'll use like a color like this for their writing. So see how it's hard to read that? So they'll have this is low contrast. So the colors look very similar and it's hard to read it compared to if we did something like that and we did the complementary color. So see, even this is still harder to read, but it's not as hard to read as this. So the main things you want to do is like black and white would be so something like this. So white and black here, that's going to be the easiest to read. Like those are complete different sides of the spectrum. That's what you're trying to get to. Like you want to be as far off of the spectrum. So you want one color all the way over here and then the other color all the way over here. It's going to be easier for your customer to be able to read it. Like if we did a white. So there we go. So see something like this where it's high contrast, it's high, it's easier for the person to read it. So we don't want something like this where the colors look almost identical. We want something like this where it's easier to read the writing on the page and to see all of the elements. So don't keep your colors super close together where we can't tell one color from the next. Use this high contrast where it's easier to read and your writing stands out from the background. So those are the 7 design hacks that I like to use as a non-designer to help my products look more professional. And make sure you watch this video next where I tell you the lessons that I wish I would have known before starting my Etsy shop. So head over there, watch this video if you're interested in selling digital products on Etsy, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.